If husbands and wives understood this one biblical truth, divorce rates would look very different. There is a dangerous misunderstanding about submission and leadership that is destroying Christian homes. We live in a world where roles are blurred, authority is mocked, and covenant is treated like a contract. Yet Scripture reveals a shocking clarity about why husbands and wives were created differently and how that difference is secretly meant to produce strength, not struggle. You are not called into marriage to compete but to complete, and from Genesis to Ephesians the pattern is unmistakable. The husband is entrusted with sacrificial leadership, while the wife is empowered with purposeful partnership, and few people know how radical this really is. When you read Ephesians 5, you notice the warning before the promise, because headship is not domination and submission is not weakness. Both are acts of obedience unto God, not personality traits or cultural leftovers. As a husband, you are commanded to love as Christ loved the church, which means dying daily to ego, pride, and comfort, choosing responsibility over silence, direction over passivity, and prayer over control, and that calling should sober you because leadership in the kingdom always comes with accountability. Scripture never tells you to rule harshly. It tells you to wash with the word, to protect spiritually, to cover emotionally, and to serve faithfully, knowing that Romans 8 verse 28 works powerfully through obedience, not convenience. As a wife, you are not diminished by support. You are divinely positioned, because Proverbs 31 was never about domestic perfection but about strength, wisdom, and influence that shapes generations. Submission in Scripture is never blind surrender. It is intentional trust in God's order, a hidden strength that aligns purpose and releases unity, and when done rightly it becomes one of the most misunderstood yet powerful forces in marriage. You are called to respect, encourage, and build, not because your voice is smaller but because your impact is massive, and the enemy knows that a wife's words can either crown or crush a home. Genesis reveals a secret many overlook. Eve was created as a helper suitable, a phrase loaded with power, meaning a strong ally, often used in Scripture to describe God Himself as a helper, which should completely destroy the lie that biblical roles are oppressive. When husbands refuse leadership and wives resist alignment, confusion enters, intimacy erodes, and prayer loses power, because Amos 3 verse 3 reminds you that agreement matters. Yet when roles are honored, not weaponized, marriage becomes a testimony, not a battlefield, and children grow up seeing order instead of chaos, security instead of instability. This is not about who is greater. Jesus already settled that by kneeling to wash feet, and that image should haunt every husband who confuses authority with entitlement and every wife who confuses strength with resistance. Marriage was designed to reflect Christ and the church, a living parable the world is watching, and whether you realize it or not, your obedience preaches louder than your words. The hidden truth is this: God's design is not restrictive. It is protective, and when you step into your role fully, you don't lose yourself, you finally find purpose. So examine your heart, not your spouse, align yourself with Scripture, not culture, and decide today whether your marriage will be shaped by opinion or by truth. If this challenged you, stirred you, or exposed something you need to pray about, don't ignore it, act on it. Share this message with someone who needs clarity. Like the video to push this truth further. Subscribe so you don't miss what few people are willing to say, and leave a comment declaring your commitment to honor God's design. Because the strongest marriages are built by those who choose obedience even when it's uncomfortable.